Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam, and he told them that the ibadat that you are doing or giving to the idols, it is the right of Allah Azza wa Jal alone. It's the right of Allah Azza wa Jal alone. لا يصلح منها أو من هذه العبادات شيء لغيره لا لملك مقرب ولا نبي مرسل فضلا عن غيرهما. So these ibadat should not be delivered to any closer angel or a prophet, because it is the right of Allah Azza wa Jal alone. محض حق الله, the right of Allah alone. ومحض حق الله عز وجل أمران: اعتقاد وتقرب. لابد لنا أن نفهم هذا. We should understand that the right of Allah, when we said the right of Allah, we mean two things: اعتقاد, which is like creed or belief, and the second thing is taqarrub, is getting closer to. So we have two things. We have two things when we say haqqullah. Haqqullah, i'tiqad wa taqarrub, believing and getting closer to. Al-i'tiqad, ayna mahalluhu? Al-qalb. I'tiqad, the belief, the creed, the place of it is the heart, right? مكان الإيمان, the place of iman is the heart. هذا الاعتقاد لابد له من تقرب. So we should also add with the belief a kind of action to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. طيب لو سألنا هذا السؤال: لو أن إنسانا اعتقد الشرك ولم يفعله هل يكون مشركا أم مسلما؟ If somebody believed in the shirk but he did not do it. In another word, let us give it an example. لو أن إنسانا يعتقد بجواز الذبح لغير الله لكنه لا يفعله هل هذا مسلم ولا مشرك؟ If somebody believes that it's okay to slaughter to somebody else beside Allah Azza wa Jal, but he never practiced this, so is that a Muslim or a mushrik? Mushrik in his belief, right? Because this kind of action should be delivered to Allah alone. Al-dhabh, slaughtering, should be for Allah alone. Dua should be for Allah alone. Vow should be for Allah alone. So if somebody believes in one of these actions that it's okay to do it for somebody else beside Allah Azza wa Jal, even though he is not doing that thing, it is considered a kind of shirk, because believing that Allah is the only one who can harm or benefit. We should have this always inshallah ta'ala in our mind. ثم قال الشيخ عليه رحمة الله: وإلا فهؤلاء المشركون. يعني المؤلف كما سنرى يثبت أمورا. هؤلاء المشركون, those mushrik of Mecca, they did some action, they believe in something. منها أنهم كانوا يتعبدون لله عز وجل, right? That they used to worship Allah, as we mentioned, right? أنهم كانوا يتعبدون لله عز وجل. The mushrikeen of Mecca used to worship Allah عز وجل. The other thing, أنهم يتعبدون الله عز وجل من خلال هذه الوسائط, من خلال هذه الأصنام والآلهة. The second thing that the Shaykh said, that they used to worship Allah Azza wa Jal through the intermediaries, Hubal, Allat, Al-Uzza, right? And the third thing, كانوا يعتقدون أن هذه الوسائط لا تخلق ولا ترزق ولا تضر ولا تنفع. They used to believe that these idols cannot harm, cannot benefit, cannot create, cannot provide, right? They used to, and we will see how they will answer this question, the mushrikeen themselves. The fourth thing, أنهم توجهوا إلى هذه الآلهة لكونها وسيلة اتصال بينهم وبين الله حتى يحققوا تلك الطلبات. They used to give part of their or portion of their ibadat to these idols because they believe that the righteous spirit, like the spirit of Jibreel, or spirit of prophets in general, or spirit of Isa alayhi salam, incarnated in these idols. So they used to ask the idols for put their need in the front of the idols, and they used to think that those idols are so closer to Allah in a way, if they ask Allah something, they will have it. You see? Is that clear up to here? هذا مفهوم واضح? Is it clear for you what we're talking about? Because the major problem, if we say something and we still do not understand the Shaykh what he is talking. So these things, four things the mushrikeen of Mecca used to do it. Right? هذه الأمور الأربعة كان المشركون يفعلونها. طيب المؤلف رحمه الله أراد أن يبين لنا من هذا الأمر أن المشركين مقرون بتوحيد الربوبية. The مؤلف, the Shaykh, the author of the book that we are explaining, he wants to tell us that the mushrikeen of Mecca used to have one kind of tawheed, which is the lordship, al-rububiyyah. Of course, they do not have the complete tawheed of al-rububiyyah. Otherwise, they will worship Allah alone. But they have a major portion of it, as Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in the ayat that we will recite later on. So, they believe that the idols, again, do not create, do not harm, do not provide, do not benefit, and they always said that the one in the heaven is the one who creates, who provides, who can benefit or can harm. So a Shaykh is telling us that they have to believe that they used to say these things regarding Allah Azza wa Jal. قال رحمه الله وإلا فإن هؤلاء المشركون يشهدون أن الله وحده الخالق لا شريك له. He said that the mushrikeen of Mecca used to affirm that Allah Azza wa Jal is the only creator and He has no partner with that, in that. They used to witness that, al-mushrikeen. وَأَنَّهُ لَا يَرْزُقُ إِلَّا هُوَ, and there is no one can provide except Him. وَأَنَّهُ لَا يُحْيِي وَلَا يُمِيتُ إِلَّا هُوَ, and that nobody can gives life or takes life except He subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا يُدَبِّرُ الْأَمْرَ إِلَّا هُوَ, and indeed nobody controls the affairs except Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَنَّ جَمِيعَ السَّمَاوَاتِ السَّبْعِ وَمَنْ فِيهِنَّ وَالْأَرَاضِينِ السَّبْعِ وَمَنْ فِيهَا كُلُّهُمْ عَبِيدُهُ وَتَحْتَ تَصَرُّفِهِ وَقَهْرِهِ. And also that they used to believe that the heaven and earth, including all that is in them, are slaves of Allah, subject to His power and command. The mushrikeen of Mecca used to understand this and to believe in this. إذن هذه الجمل, what the mushrikeen just mentioned and said about Allah Azza wa Jalla, that He is the only creator, He is the only provider, He is the only one who gives lives and take lives. Does this statement make them Muslim? What do you think? Allahu A'lam, he said. Allahu A'lam, of course, but we know also, we know. Allah Azza wa Jal, as we mentioned now, are you following or are you sleeping? We are still in the beginning of the lecture, right? The mushrikeen used to say, as we hear, that Allah is only the only creator, right? Only provider, only that who gives lives and takes lives, only controller, and everything in heavens and earth is His slave and under His control and command. They used to say this. But did they reach the state to be a Muslim?
No.
Did Rasulullah ﷺ fight them?
Yes.
So did he fight a Muslim?
No.
So it's clear now, right?
Right.
They were not Muslim even though saying this thing, because Rasulullah ﷺ fought them. He fight against them. In Fathu Mecca, till the people of Mecca became a Muslim. But before that, in Badr, in Uhud, other battles, you know that Rasulullah ﷺ used to fight those people because they were believer or non-believer? Non-believer, of course. إذن الشيخ يريد أن يقول لنا أن توحيد الربوبية وحده لا يدخل صاحبه في الإسلام. واضح هذا؟ The Sheikh is telling us that the oneness of Allah in His Lordship, it's not enough to make a person a Muslim. Is that clear? If somebody said Allah al-Khaliq, Allah al-Raziq, Allah the provider, is he a Muslim by saying this? No, not yet. He have to single Allah Azza wa Jal of every and each act of worship. Because if you ask the Christian who is the creator, what they will answer? Allah. Did they say Isa?
No.
Never. If you ask the Jew who is the creator, they will say Musa. They will say Allah. But did they believers? Are they believers?
No.
Until they believe in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and single out Allah Azza wa Jal of every and each act of worship. So is that base clear? The first one.
Yes.
So توحيد الربوبية لا يدخل الناس في الإسلام. The oneness of Allah and His Lordship does not mean that people are a Muslim if they bring this type of tawheed. This is number one to understand inshallah ta'ala. الأمر الثاني وإحنا ذكرنا منه شيء أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بل إن القرآن بآيات مختلفة والنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم من خلال ممارسته والصحابة والسلف أجمعوا على أن معنى لا إله إلا الله لا معبود بحق إلا الله. That in some ayat in the Quran, some ahadith, the practice of the Prophet ﷺ, the ijma' of the companion and the righteous salaf, that the meaning of La ilaha illallah what? What is the meaning of La ilaha illallah?
They believe in Allah.
Huh?
They believe in Allah only.
ما سمعتكش.
They believe in Allah only.
They believe in Allah. طيب معنى لا إله إلا الله لا معبود بحق إلا الله. That nobody deserves to be, who's worthy to be worshipped but Allah alone. This is the meaning of La ilaha illallah. You will see that the tawheed of the mushrikeen in the lordship for them was La ilaha illallah means that the only creator, provider and maker, if we can say as-sani' who Allah. The mushrikeen used to say that La ilaha illallah means that Allah is the creator, the provider and the controller. Is the meaning of La ilaha illallah?
No.
It is not the meaning of La ilaha illallah. Of course Allah is the creator. Of course Allah is the provider. Of course Allah is the controller. But still, as we will see later on, we have a problem. If we do not understand La ilaha illallah, so we will not reach the state of safety in the dunya and the hereafter. So La ilaha illallah, the mushrikeen, Abu Jahl, understand that Allah is the only creator, Allah is the only provider, only controller, and only that who benefits and harm. He is alone subhanahu wa ta'ala. قال شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية رحمه الله تعالى: أما توحيد الربوبية فقد أقر به المشركون. طبعا اتفقنا لم يأتوا به على الكمال، وهذا محل وفاق. أقر به المشركون وكانوا يعبدون مع الله غيره ويحبونهم كما يحبون الله، فكان ذلك التوحيد الذي من توحيد الربوبية حجة عليهم وهو دليل على إثبات الألوهية. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah used to say that the oneness of Allah and His Lordship, the mushrikeen, they affirm it and they brought it. As we mentioned, it's not all of it, it's a major portion of it. But they use, regarding the thing that we mentioned, they use to admit that, as we will see the ayat. Even the ayat, Allah Azza wa Jal is telling us that they believe in Him as a creator, a provider. We will listen to the ayat later on, inshaAllah ta'ala. So he said, the tawheed, the lordship, oneness of Allah is in His lordship. The mushrikeen, they affirm it. They used to affirm this kind of tawheed. And even though they have this oneness of Allah in His lordship, they used to worship some idols with Him. Is that clear? Even though they have the oneness of Allah in His lordship, they used to worship the idols with Him, and they used to love them as they love Allah Azza wa Jal. As Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يَتَّخِذُ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ أَنْدَادًا يُحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ. That from among people, they will take arrivals, or they will set up a rival for Allah Azza wa Jal. They love them equal like Allah Azza wa Jal. So the mushrikeen, they used to do that. Indeed, if you affirm the oneness of Allah in His lordship, this should lead you to the oneness of Allah in His divinity, Elohiyya, as we will hear later on. وقال شيخ الإسلام ابن القيم رحمه الله تعالى: والإلهية أو الألوهية أو العبادة كلها نفس المعنى التي دعت إليه الرسل أممهم إلى توحيد الرب بها هي العبادة. So Ibn Qayyim said that the tawheed that the messengers brought, and they have, as we will see later on, problems even with their nation based on tawheed al-ibadah, al-ilahiyya, the divinity, the oneness of Allah in His divinity. Then he said, rahimahullah, توحيد العبادة وليس من يكون هو الخالق أو الرازق. يعني the prophets لما أرسلوا, when Allah sent the messengers, did they have dispute with their people who is the creator? Did they have the dispute with their people who is the provider? The dispute was not in this aspect, because even the mushrikeen, they affirmed these things. But where was the dispute? Ifradullah, to single out Allah Azza wa Jal of every and each act of worship. This is the problem. They said, أَجَعَلَ الْآلِهَةَ إِلَهًا وَاحِدًا. How come He made that gods just only one God? So the problem was in this type of tawheed, which is divinity, Elohiyya or ibadah. Then he said, وَمِن لَوَازِمِ تَوْحِيدِ الرُّبُوبِيَّةِ الذي أقر به المشركون فاحتج الله عليهم به فإنه يلزم من الإقرار به الإقرار بتوحيد الإلهية أو الألوهية. Then he said, the one who affirm the oneness of Allah in His lordship should affirm the oneness of Allah in His divinity. Because if you believe that nobody can harm or benefit except Allah, nobody creates except Allah, nobody provides except Allah, so how come you worship somebody else with Allah? This is not common sense even. قال في الدرر السنية في الأجوبة النجدية: لم يقل أحد من الكفار أن أحدا يخلق أو يرزق أو يدبر أمره، بل كلهم يقرون أن الفاعل لذلك هو الله، وهم يعرفون الله بذلك، وهذا الإقرار لم يدخلهم في الإسلام. So the Shaykh rahimahullah in the book Ad-Durar al-Sunniyya said, none of the mushrikeen said that there is somebody who created with Allah, or provide with Allah, or control with Allah. None of the disbelievers said this. All of them indeed affirm that Allah is the only one who do these things. But even though they mention that, admit, affirm that, they did not become a Muslim by saying such a statement. وقال شيخ الإسلام أيضا في الدرر، في نفس الكتاب الدرر السنية، وهذا كلام جميل إذا فهمنا ما نتحدث به بشكل واضح إن شاء الله. سأقرأ عليكم: ومن المعلوم أن لله تعالى أفعالا وَلِلْعَبِيدِ أَفْعَالًا. Shaykh al-Islam in the book Ad-Durar al-Sunniyah said it is well known that Allah Azza wa Jal has His own actions and the servant, they have their own actions. Is that clear? We will go step for step in the statement because it's very important statement. قال الله عز وجل له أفعال خلق ورزق وتدبير ونفع وإحياء وإماتة ونحو ذلك. Then he said that from the actions of Allah Azza wa Jal is creating, providing, controlling, benefit people or harm, reviving the dead or causing death to the live one. These are from the action of Allah Azza wa Jal, right? والعباد لهم أفعال ذبح ونذر وركوع وسجود وغيرها. And the servant have action, their own action, like slaughtering, like sujood, like ruku'. This is our action as a servant, right? فأفعال الله الخلق والرزق والنفع والضر والتدبير. قال وهذا أمر لا ينازع فيه لا كافر ولا مسلم. Then he said the action of Allah Azza wa Jal, creation or to create, to provide, to benefit or harm or to control, this is something even the non-believer, they did not, dispute or reject such a thing. Then he said وأفعال العبد العبادة كونه لا يدعو إلا الله ولا ينذر إلا لله ولا يذبح إلا له ولا يخاف خوف السر إلا منه ولا يتوكل إلا عليه. Then he said that from the action of the servant that he should supplicate to Allah alone, right? He should supplicate to Allah alone and he should make his vow to Allah alone. He should slaughter for Allah alone. He should not have fear from anybody like his fearing from Allah Azza wa Jal. Then he should rely, having tawakkul in Allah Azza wa Jal. Then he said rahimahullah, فَالْمُسْلِمُ مَنْ وَحَّدَ اللَّهَ تَعَالَى بأفعاله سبحانه وأفعاله بنفسه. واضحة الآن الصورة؟ المسلم من يوحد الله بأفعال الله وبأفعاله هو، يعني من خلال عبادته فلا يعبد إلا الله. Then he said the Muslim is the one who affirmed the oneness of Allah in his action, in Allah's action. Nobody create with him, nobody provide with him, nobody harm or benefit with him. Then in his action, in the servant action, means you will not worship anyone except Allah. So if you gather both Tawheed, the oneness of Allah in his action and the oneness of Allah in your action, then you are a Muslim. Is that clear? The oneness of Allah in his action, no one create, no one provide, no one can give life, no one can take life except him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in your action, if you supplicate to Allah alone. If you slaughter to Allah alone. If you make tawaf, you make tawaf to Allah alone. If you pray, if you make sujood, to Allah alone. If you combine the two tawheed, the oneness of Allah in his action and the oneness of Allah in your action, you are the real believer. Right? Is that clear? Now look at the mushrikeen. What kind of tawheed the mushrikeen they brought? The oneness of Allah in his action. But what about their action? They were slaughtering for somebody else, supplicating to the idols, right? So are they a Muslim or mushrik? Is that clear now this for you?
Yes.
Clear, inshallah?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So now we understand that Tawheed al-Rububiyyah liwahdihi la yakfi. So now we understand the oneness of Allah in His Lordship alone cannot lead any person to be a Muslim. Alone. You have to add something, the oneness of Allah in your action, which is the divinity, The oneness of Allah in His divinity. وهذا الأصل مهم جدا أن نفهمه. We should understand this fundamental thing. Because sometimes, as we will hear later on, you will hear the dispute. Some Muslim, they affirm that Allah is the creator, the provider, the controller, the planner. But when they slaughter to the dweller of the grave. You see? They affirm the oneness of Allah and His Lordship. But what about their action? They are doing some action to somebody else beside Allah Azza wa Jal, and this action can lead to shirk or kufr. So this is why we should be so clear in this. ثم قال الشيخ رحمه الله فإذا أردت الدليل, if you want the proof regarding what we are saying, he said, if you want the proof regarding what we are telling you, what we are saying to you, وهنا كلمة الدليل خص فيها أي أمر؟ خص فيها الاستدلال على توحيد الربوبية عند المشركين. سيأتي بالأدلة. The Shaykh will bring evidence, proves that the mushrikeen in Mecca time, they have a big portion of توحيد الربوبية. And he will bring the ayat to say, to mention what Allah Azza wa Jal said about the mushrikeen themselves. Allah Ta'ala, the Shaykh said, فَقْرَأ, يعني اقرأ آيات كثيرة منها قول الله عز وجل قل من يرزقكم من السماء والأرض. Say, who provides you from the heaven and the earth? من يرزقكم من السماء والأرض أمن يملك السمع والأبصار. Say, and who provides you, we said, for the heaven, from the heaven and the earth, then who own the sam', the hearing and the sight? ومن يخرج الحي من الميت ويخرج الميت من الحي. And who brings the living out of the dead and brings the dead out of the living. ومن يدبر الأمر. And who arrange every matter. فسيقولون الله. Then they will say Allah. You see the proof? You got the evidence now? That the mushrikeen, if you ask them, who provide you from heaven and earth, who owns hearing and the sight, who control, who arrange every matter, they will say Allah, right? They will say Allah. فَقُلْ أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. Then say to them, will you not fear Allah? Look at the words of the ayah. مَنْ يَرْزُقُكُمْ. قل لهم يا محمد صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم من يرزقكم من السماء والأرض. من السماء بالمطر ومن الأرض بالنبات. Who provides you from the heaven with rain and from the earth with plantation. ومن أمن يملك السمع والأبصار. من أعطاكم السمع ومن أعطاكم الأبصار. Who provide you with the hearing? Who provides you with the ear, with the eyes and the sight? They will say Allah Azza wa Jal. وَمَنْ يُخْرِجُ الْحَيَّ مِنَ الْمَيِّتِ وَيُخْرِجُ الْمَيِّتَ مِنَ الْحَيِّ. أي يخرج الحي من النطفة والنطفة من الحي. That he will bring the hayy, the living person, from a sperm, and he will bring the dead from the living one, which is the sperm from the living person. Then فَسَيَقُولُونَ اللَّهِ. They will answer, Allah is the only one who can do such a thing. Then he said, فَقُلْ أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. Then will you not fear Allah? أَلَا تَخَافُونَ عَاقِبَةَ الشِّرْكِ الَّذِي أَنْتُمْ فِيهِ. Don't you are afraid from the shirk that you are doing, knowing that Allah is the only one who provides you with everything? Or أفلا تتقون الشرك، يعني مع هذا الإقرار قيل اتقوا الشرك، خافوا عقوبة الله في الأولى تفسر هكذا، وفي الثانية إذا عرفتم كل هذا فاتقوا الشرك وخافوا عاقبته. So be aware of committing a shirk, because you know that nobody, no one provide or control more than or anybody with Allah Azza wa Jal. Then he said, فَذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُمْ. Such is Allah, your Lord. أي فذلكم أي الذي يفعل ذلكم هو الله عز وجل الذي يفعل هذه الأشياء. So Allah is the only one who do such things that we mention in the ayah. Then he said, فذلكم الله ربكم الحق فماذا بعد الحق إلا الضلال فأنى تصرفون. يعني تصرفون عن عبادته وأنتم تقرون وتشهدون له subhanahu wa ta'ala. So after, then he said, such is Allah your Lord in truth. So after the truth, what else can there be save error? How then are you turned away from his worship? If you affirm all of this equality to him, how come you take part of your ibadat to somebody else? So Allah Azza wa Jalla in this ayah, he affirmed different things, right? Number one, the only creator and the provider. The mushrikeen, they affirmed that, right? The mushrikeen, they affirmed, as we heard the ayah, that Allah Azza wa Jalla is the only creator and provider. Second, they affirmed that Allah is the Lord, the controller and the planner of all affairs. And they affirm the one who gave you vision and hearing is Allah Azza wa Jal, the Almighty, and the one who extracts life from death and death from life is Allah. All of these things, the mushrikeen, they affirmed. Is that clear? So with this, still, they are not Muslim. They did not reach the state of Islam. Then another ayah, قول الله عز وجل قل لمن. طبعا الآيات that I mentioned in Surah Yunus 31 and 32. The ayat that I mentioned, Surah Yunus 31, 32. Now Allah Azza wa Jal said in Surah Al-Mu'minun, ayah 8:4 up to 8:9 in Surah Al-Mu'minun. قل لمن الأرض ومن فيها إن كنتم تعلمون سيقولون لله قل أفلا تذكرون قل من رب السماوات السبع ورب العرش العظيم سيقولون لله قل أفلا تتقون قل من بيده ملكوت كل شيء وهو يجير ولا يجار عليه إن كنتم تعلمون سيقولون لله قل فأنى تسحرون. Allah the Almighty, more or less in the ayat, say Muhammad, to whom belongs the earth and whoever is in it, if you should know. They will say to Allah. Who are they? The mushrikeen, right? They will say to Allah, say, then will you not remember? Say, who is the Lord of the seven heavens and the Lord of the great throne? They will say, they belong to Allah. Say, then will you not fear Him? Say, in whose hand is the realm of all things? Realm?
Realm.
Realm of all things. And He protects while none can protect against Him. If you should know, they will say, all belongs to Allah. Say, then how are you deluded? How come? If you affirm all of these things. So Ibn Kathir رحمه الله تعالى في هذه الآية يحدث عن هذه الآيات يقول يقرر الله عز وجل وحدانيته واستقلاله بالخلق والتصرف والملك ليرشد إلى أنه الله الذي لا إله إلا هو. Ibn Kathir said in his commentary to this ayat, tafsir, that Allah Azza wa Jal here in this ayat is affirming to us His lordship, divinity. He is the only one who created and the one who control and the one who own and plan. to show people that He is the real and the true God that you should worship. إذن توحيد الألوهية الربوبية لما يتحدث الله عن توحيد الربوبية يجعله مقدمة تستلزم توحيد الألوهية. When Allah speaks Azza wa Jal about His oneness in the Lordship, الربوبية, He used this like a tool, like a mean to lead people to the second type of Tawheed, which is the divinity. Because if you affirm that He is the creator, He is the provider, as I said, how come you will not worship Him? How come you will worship somebody who cannot benefit or harm, or cannot provide or cannot create? This is not even a common sin or sense. So the ayat is clear. Let us just pass, inshallah, fast to the meaning. قُلْ لِمَنِ الْأَرْضُ وَمَنْ فِيهَا. To whom belong the land, the earth, and everything in it. من مالكها? من الذي يملك هذه الأرض؟ من الذي خلقها؟ هو الله. Who created this earth? Who is the owner of it? Allah Azza wa Jal. ومن فيها, and whoever is in it, من الحيوانات والنباتات والثمرات وسائر المخلوقات. In it, from every type of creation, human, animals, vegetation, plantation, and everything. Who created this? Allah Azza wa Jal, the Almighty. إن كنتم تعلمون. هذه أهل العلم يقولون هذه شهادة. إن كنتم تعلمون هذه شهادة، يعني يعترفون لك بأنك وحدك لا شريك لك. That they affirm this matters to Allah alone. They admit that. They admit that Allah is the only creator. قل أفلا تذكرون. أي أنه لا تنبغي العبادة إلا للخالق الرازق لا غيره. That ibadah should not be delivered to anyone except the creator and the provider. Don't you remember that? The one who created, who is the one who deserves to be worshipped? The only one. Then he said, من رب السماوات السبع ورب العرش العظيم. Say, who is the Lord of the seven heavens and the Lord of the great throne. أي من خالق هذا العالم العلوي. Who created this world, عالم, the heavens, the stars, the sun, the moon. They will affirm that Allah عز وجل. سيقولون لله قل أفلا تتقون. They will say they belong to Allah. Say, then will you not fear Him? If you know that He is the Creator, the Lord of the heavens, the Lord of the greatest throne, then don't you afraid from His punishment? أفلا تخافون عقابه تعبدون غيره وتشركون معه غيره. You associate with Him partners and somebody else in your ibadah. You should afraid His punishment. ثم قال قل من بيده ملكوت كل شيء. أي من الذي بيده الملك؟ الله سبحانه وتعالى الخالق المالك المتصرف. Who owns everything? He is Allah Azza wa Jalla, the owner, the controller of everything. وكانت العرب في قول الله وهو يجير ولا يجار عليه. كانت العرب إذا كان السيد فيهم كبير ومعروف وجاءه أحد الناس فطلب أن يجيره، كان يصبح في ذمته وحمايته، فلا يعترض ولا لا يؤذيه أحد. The Arab in the time before Islam, even when there is a master, a big person, powerful one who has maybe power and richness, if somebody used to come to him seek his protection, if he said you are under my protection, so the whole Mecca will not harm him. They used to have that. Allah Azza wa Jalla is telling us وهو يجير ولا يجار عليه. أي هو السيد العظيم الأعظم الذي له الخلق والأمر والذي لا مانع لحكمه ولا يخاف وما شاء كان وما لم يشأ لم يكن. Then Allah, He said in the ayah more or less, when he asked them, who is the one who protects, while none can protect against him, if you should know. Allah Azza wa Jal, if they used to do this with themselves, between themselves, so Allah Azza wa Jal is the real, the greatest master. And if he decides something, nobody can avoid what Allah Azza wa Jal already decided. إذن كيف تذهب عقولكم في عبادتكم معه غيره? So how come you will lose your mind to worship somebody else with him, knowing these features and these qualities of Allah Azza wa Jal? We have this one, there's no timing. I forget mine indeed. I think we have almost 43 minutes. Do you want to continue 5 minutes more, or you think it is enough for you? 5 more minutes? 5 more minutes? طيب 5 more minutes, and please remind me. طيب السبب في هذا فيما هم عليه إنما هو اتباع الأهواء واتباع الآباء والأجداد. The reason why they are doing this is following their fathers and grandfathers. This is why Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned in different ayat, وَإِنَّا عَلَى آثَارِهِمْ مُهْتَدُونَ وَإِنَّا عَلَى آثَارِهِمْ في سورة الزخرف أيضا مُقْتَدُونَ. Allah the Almighty said, nay, they say, we found our fathers following a certain way and religion, and we guide ourselves by their footsteps. This is the reason. So they do not use their mind even to know Allah Azza wa Jal. And Allah Azza wa Jal said in Surah Yusuf, in the ayah 106, وَمَا يُؤْمِنُ أَكْثَرُهُم بِاللَّهِ إِلَّا وَهُم مُشْرِكُونَ قال أهل العلم من إيمانهم بالله أنك لو سألتهم من خلق السماوات ومن خلقكم يقولون الله عز وجل. هذا من الإيمان، من إيمانهم بالله عز وجل. قال ولو سألتهم من ينزل القطر من السماء ليقولن الله ومع ذلك عبدوا معه غيره. In the ayah in Surah Yusuf, the ayah Yusuf 106, and most of them believe not in Allah except that they attribute partners unto Him. The scholars said, from their iman in Allah, if you ask them, who create you? Who create the heavens and the earth? They will say Allah. This is from their iman. And who sent the sky, the heavens with rain? They will say Allah. But even though they worship somebody else with Allah Azza wa Jal. So up to here we have two strong introduction to understand, right? The first one, what was the first one? أن المشركين كانوا يعبدون الله عز وجل لكن كانوا يعبدون معه غيره. That the mushrikeen used to worship Allah Azza wa Jal and worship somebody else, idols with him. The second, أن المشركين أقروا بتوحيد الربوبية جملة كثيرة منهم ليس على الكمال. That the mushrikeen, they affirm the oneness of Allah and His Lordship. A major portion of this tawheed, they brought it as we hear the ayat. The third thing, that this type of tawheed, أدخلهم في الدين? This type of tawheed is not enough to be a Muslim. It's not enough to be a Muslim. And when then we hear the Shaykh giving us the proof, we will stop here because now what is coming, we cannot just stop saying something. Or let me just please add this thing and I will finish with this inshaAllah ta'ala. ثم قال الشيخ رحمه الله فإذا تحققت أنهم مقرون بهذا وأنه لم يدخلهم في التوحيد. Then the Shaykh said, it is clear that they recognize all of these facts. This is reference to the mushrikeen of Mecca, recognizing all of the matters related to Allah's Lordship as previously mentioned, yet this did not fulfill the tawheed that the Messenger of Allah ﷺ was calling them to. Is that clear, this part, this addition? Yeah, because this is very important. Why it is very important? التوحيد الذي دعاهم إليه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ما هو? What is the type of tawheed that Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم called the people of Mecca to? Uluhiyya or Rububiyyah? Uluhiyya. So that